Okay, so now I'm going to explain to you about morphology and also phonology, the connection of this morphology and phonology. Well, the comparison of morphology and phonology. So here, as I have already explained, the definition of morphology, which is the study of the structure of words that has also relation to syntax because syntax also deals with sentence structure. Meanwhile, in morphology, it deals with word structure, right? In morphology, where the structure of words is the concentration, how a word is constructed from morphemes or a unit of sound and the smallest meaningful unit of language to form a particular unit of meaning. This morphology deals with the system of smallest meaningful units of grammatical combination of phonemes, and the procedure used to discover the sound units is, in morphonology especially could also be applied in search of the smallest units of meaning. Okay, so phonology is the study of speech sound with regard to their function as signaling units of a language. So it focuses on finding out the significant unit of sounds in a given language or those that signal the difference in meaning, especially their distributions to or their functions. And the smallest unit of sound, which can be distinguish meaning, is called phoneme. And in other words, by changing one single phoneme in a word, for example, the meaning of word will also totally change. The linguists consider the sounds as a system, how they contrast with one another, and the ways they can combine with one another in a language, as stated by Purwanto. And the set of words which can be used to identify different phonemes is called a minimal pair. Of course, you are quite familiar with these minimal pairs that you have already studied in phonology class. And it is a pair of words. So this minimal pair is a pair of words, especially two words, and differs minimally in one single phoneme or sound. Example. So let's see this following example. Like in the word cat and cat. The phonemes are a and a. Cat and cat. The second one, pay and bay. Phonemes here, the sound p and b, they are different. And then tin and dit. The phonemes of consonants t and d are different. So they are the sound are quite familiar, but the phonemes are different. The sound is different. English minimal pairs above are concerned with phonology, whereas the derivation of words is dealt with morphology. Look at the example below. Yeah, this is in morphology term. Yeah, the example in morphology term. For example, the verb help plus affix full, so it becomes helpful. It becomes adjective. And then generate as verb plus ion or the affix, it becomes generation. So that's the example, yeah. That's why they are quite the same with with the term phoneme in phonology and also in morpheme in morphology. Okay, phoneme. Phoneme and morpheme compare. Phonemes and morphemes are two basic signaling units of language which are universal in that they are always found in any language. Each language has phonemes and morphemes as its signaling units, which are mostly different in their nature and also distribution. The number of phonemes a language is always small in comparison with that the morphemes in the same language, and the latter keeps growing every advancement of technology and growth of the culture of the speech community who speak the language. And such new words, yeah, new words like, for example, COVID-19, right? Um, and then Jeep, as example, spacecraft model have always been cognac to meet the needs of the society because it's new words. Yeah. When morpheme and phonemes are compared, morphemes have meaning whereas phonemes don't have because phonemes is only the sound like a, for example, a, t, d. Yeah, that's the phonemes, right? A morpheme may have composed of one or more than two phonemes. In English, the utterance is bat, one morpheme referring to small kinds of object. But the utterance bats consists of two morphemes. The first one is bat as a kind of object, and the second one we have the suffix or the ending the. meaning plurality to denote that the object referred to in the preceding morpheme more than one. The morpheme that is composed of three phonemes, right? The sound like the consonant b, the vowel a, and then the other consonant is the, while the plural phoneme is constituted of only one morpheme, that is the. Okay, so bat plus the, it becomes plural bats. A morpheme may be composed of one or more phonemes. Grammatically, consequences of phonemes itself. These following are the examples of morphemes that consist one or more phonemes. One phoneme like t, in the word kicked, kicked, kicked. There's ending t at the end. Three phonemes like in man, sit, can, be. Yeah, different. They are consonants and also vowels in the phoneme. Next, four phonemes: send, help, speak, grass, mother. So you can find four sounds in the words. And then five phonemes: sound, crowd, study. Six phonemes: system, tablet, plural. Seven phonemes: analyze, character, triumph. Eight phonemes: language, category, scramble. This illustration above show that the most English morphemes consist of two or more phonemes, while the morphemes which are constituted of one, yes, wait. Okay. The illustration above show that the most English morphemes consist of two or more phonemes, while morphemes, which are constituted of one or more than four phonemes, are not great in number. Morphemes is the CVC. What is CVC? Consonant, vowel, consonant sound type. Each language has its own pattern, which can be determined after one has made a thorough examination of the phonemic structure of most phonemes used in language. Yeah, morpheme, based on Ramalan, morpheme is often described as the smallest meaningful unit of language. So it means that it cannot be divided into smaller parts without destroying its original meaning. For example, morpheme tray, something to carry up, and plate if you cut into. Teh and rel, teh and ray still have meaning but no relation to tray, right? Therefore, the linguistic form of tray is considered as the smallest form that has meaning. Summarizing the differences of morpheme and phonemes, you can see in this table. So these are so in phoneme, being always limited in number in a language. Meanwhile, morphemes keeping growing every time in line with the advancement of technology and growth of culture of the speech community. And in phoneme, it has no meaning. Meanwhile, morphemes have meaning, especially free morpheme. Okay, and in phoneme constituted of only phoneme. Meanwhile, morphemes may be composed of one or more phonemes or a sequence of phonemes. Next, interaction of morphology and phonology. With regard to the interaction of morphology and phonology, however, we can regard to the interaction of both. That is, the selection of form that manifests a given morpheme may be influenced by the sounds that realize neighboring morphemes. The indefinite articles a and an in English, for example, are differently used. A is used before a word beginning with a consonant. For example, a pear, a book, while an is used before a beginning with a vowel. For example, an orange, an owl, and so on. Okay, so that's the difference between morphology and also phonology. Yeah, I hope that you can understand the explanation of morphology and also phonology itself. Okay, thank you very much.